everyone, welcome back to a brand new episode of Trash Talk. I'm here with a very, very special guest. Would you like to introduce yourself?
What's up? It's me, AidenProjects, most
Well,
important person in the world.
That's crazy.
well, diving straight into it, just to sort of introduce yourself for maybe people that aren't familiar with your content or your presence within commentary and stuff. Would you like to just go over how you got involved with doing commentary stuff and
Oh yeah,
what sort of
sure,
led you to do that?
sure, yeah. So now I'm like an on again, off again commentary YouTuber, very inconsistent upload schedule. But initially, when I had started, I was very young, probably a bit too young. I was like, what was I? I was like 12 years old. I taught myself how to edit videos. First, I used Sony Vegas. That was before I even knew how to pirate stuff. So I actually saved up for multiple holidays, birthdays to be able to purchase the software. It was like $400 at the time. If I knew what I if I had known then what I know now, I would have just. Well, actually, we're on a recording, so I'm not going to admit to piracy. But anyways, taught myself how to edit. Started editing for other YouTubers. That's kind of how I got my start, and then I ended up uploading videos of my own on the side, and then my channel kind of got a huge boost when a commentary YouTuber I was editing for at the time, Chubbs, he didn't pay me, so got on Drama Alert. I got a bunch of subs off of that, and then my channel kind of like stagnated and died. I went from like 100k subs to like 90k. Videos were getting no views. At that point in time, I was like really inspired by Colossal's Crazy, so I was doing like this video essay type content. And then it kind of hit me like nobody wants to hear like a little squeaker like talk about like serious topics. So I decided to switch over to there's this guy called Benji who I later became friends with. He was getting big at the time because he was kind of doing what Leafy had done back in the day, which everybody had stopped doing for whatever reason. He did a more he was a more ethical version of Leafy. Like he wasn't really making fun of kids. He was picking apart TV shows. So I said, I could do this. I watch a lot of TV. So I made a video just shitting on a really stupid TV show in America called Toddlers and Tiaras. And I don't know exactly what happened there, but the video within the span of 2 days just blew up. I was like #1 trending in like Norway, in a few different countries. I don't remember exactly. I was on the trending tab in the US. And today the video sits at 21 million, but that kind of started me down like the path of like talking about TV shows and stuff.
No, 100%. And my question is because I feel like a lot of people, especially doing commentary stuff now, would have probably seen that video, right? It was a massive video, especially with commentary stuff. There isn't many videos in commentary, especially with people with below 1 million subscribers, to get that amount of views on video, especially so young. So how did that affect you being like a very young content creator? Getting these millions of views per video, especially that video in particular, getting 21 million views. Like, how does that affect you being like a younger content creator?
Well, I'm not gonna say it sucked because like obviously like what kid doesn't want to like get all that attention, but like in the long run, now that I've grown up and everything, in hindsight, I kind of regret it happening when it did. I think that all that attention on like a young kid isn't really a good thing. Now I'm pretty like a pretty vocal advocate like against like super young kids like doing YouTube, or at least doing
Mhm.
YouTube like totally unmonitored or whatever. I think that it was, a lot of people who I had become friends with, like when I was coming up on YouTube, like fellow commentators. When I got big, they immediately turned on me. They all started like making videos on me and shit. And then when their videos didn't do well, they tried to be friends with me again. One of these people who I'd actually trusted, I gave him channel manager at the time before I got big. And then when I did get big, he uploaded an exposed video of me to my own channel, shouting out his own channel, using his position as channel manager.
Oh
Um,
my god.
that person was actually Cyrus, who became big on his own later on down the line.
Oh.
But funny
Mhm.
story. But I was very paranoid after that. Like I didn't really trust anybody. Um, at school, it was even worse. And just tons of people. I was a nobody, and now tons of people wanted to be my friend. And I kind of went through like a crisis of like, wow, like people just want to talk to me over this. Like, I didn't know who was like my actual friend and who wasn't. Yeah, it was pretty stressful. And then I didn't really I didn't really make a whole lot of money off that video anyways because it got falsely copyright claimed, and yeah, just wasn't great in the long run.
Well, no, 100%. And like, it's bad enough for people that have managements, right? Well, when they're younger, right? Look at like kids channels like Ryan Toy Review and whatever. They've got a massive team of people, right? Parents are involved, like a whole team of people, right? And it's stressful for them to film those videos and do those videos, let alone for someone like you being involved in like a community like commentary, right? With vultures, literally vultures that will like you said, right, turn against you at just like nearest sign of success, or if you make a video that they don't like, whatever. And having all that success that young, like being unsupervised as well, like it's great, right? Like I feel like if you asked like any kid in school today, what they would want, I feel like 9 out of 10 times that would be the top thing, right? Is views like on YouTube, being successful there and like being famous there. But like I don't think the negative like for that gets highlighted enough, especially in a community like commentary, right? Where I feel like there is a lot of younger children, right, making content and getting themselves involved and getting loads of views from it and whatever. Which, in my personal opinion, I think, like you've said, can be really negative.
hmm And the other thing is, like most people, I would assume most people's parents don't have a pretty good understanding of like the internet in general, but especially like the commentary community. I mean, I know my parents didn't, which is kind of I think why I was able to get as involved in it as I did. My parents had literally no idea about like this community or anything.
Yeah.
I think that kind of I don't remember where I was going with this one. I think that like over time, I think it would be good for. I totally lost my train of thought on that one, but yeah.
Well, like I feel like just like adapting to that point that you lost. I feel like parents, in the sense, especially with smaller commentary, right? Like, it's one thing just being in the commentary community and making commentary content, right? Because you make any form of commentary content, right? And some's really light-hearted, right? Like, I feel like topic commentary is a pretty light-hearted one, as long as you're not covering like serious allegations. I think you can cover that and like stay out of the way from the community and stuff. But I feel like for a sense, like younger people should be restricted in a sense. And I feel like this is a debate that, especially like, you probably wouldn't have seen this because this is just like smaller commentary stuff that's been going on for a while now. In the sense of there are so many younger kids getting themselves into so much shit with stuff they say, not just like the occasional slur, or more of like the like sexual type of stuff, especially in
Yeah,
commentary
no,
a
I've
little
seen
bit.
I've seen all of it. I've seen all of it. You'd be
Yeah.
surprised. Listen, I'm always. I mean, I kind of am now because I'm not really like super involved with YouTube. But like
Hmm.
I've even when I was at like my height, I've always been like a kind of a small commentator at heart. So I've always been keeping up with like what's been going on in that community. Because I do relate to a lot of these people in terms of like what a lot of them turn to this because they're just really bored in their real life and they're looking for something and an escape or
Yeah.
whatever. But as a part of that, I will say a lot of the people that are just naturally attracted to this kind of content or to start making it, a lot of them have issues of their own, and
Hmm.
that kind of manifests, I guess, in your side of the community. There's just I've seen some crazy shit. I don't know if you remember Pie Girl now back in the day
Yep.
when she had like painted herself in blackface, put like a swastika on her shirt, and got in front of the camera. Like that was insane. I was like, what the hell are you doing? And then there was other people. They're like in like these like commentary like e-dating rings.
Hmm.
Like I don't even. When I had started in commentary, none of that was happening.
Yeah.
But like if you're looking to this community for a love life, like it's time to stop. It's time to really step back and reconsider what you're doing.
Well, I feel like with like the small commentary community, I feel like there are way more like degenerates in that type of way than there were like even last year, right? If like the past 5 years ago, right, you could look at like the small commentary community, you might have the occasional doxer, right? You might have the occasional weirdo. Well, I feel like when you turn to like the smaller commentary community now, it's like a plethora of mental illness and people doing like weird stuff. Like, what was it? I think this year alone, there's been like predators that have come out, people like cutting themselves for attention and stuff. And it's just, I don't know, like it does, like you said, manifest itself, right? Is that a lot of these people do have like bad in real life issues that unfortunately seeps through into the stuff that they do in commentary. And unfortunately, they've chosen a genre like commentary so their issues get ripped apart even further.
Listen, here's the best advice for any small commentator, actually just anybody for that matter who's on the internet. If Listen, if you actively consider yourself a small commentator, first of all, stop doing that, right? Like
Mm,
if your goal is to gain any success off of doing this, you probably should be less like if these people put a fraction of the attention and effort they put into like their like shitty little dramas and like
yeah,
commentary social lives into like actually like studying the algorithm, pumping out good content, et cetera, they would probably find much more success. Like I feel like a lot of the people aren't even doing this to gain any like monetary gain or views or whatever. A lot of them are just literally here for a social life. And if that's your reasoning to be like here or online, you probably should be working on your IRL life
yeah,
and
yeah,
putting all your attention into your content because at the end of the day like there's a million. I mean, here's someone I heard this analogy once, right? It's like the viewer is like a hungry person in a car and they're driving down the road. They're hungry, they don't know what to get, and then they go down a street and it's like 500 McDonald's, a never ending row of McDonald's, right? What's going to make them more inclined to stop at one McDonald's over the other? You're kind of going to want to differentiate yourself in some way from everybody else, and part of that is kind of removing yourself from the, I guess what they call today, the small commentary community, doing your
no,
own thing, making your own community. That's what Augie did. And
100%.
that's why Augie ended up forming a community of his own.
Well, like I feel like with especially the label of small commentary, it's a very bad and like negative connotation, right? Like I wouldn't actively go around saying that, oh, like I know people in small commentary, I like I'm friends with people in small commentary, because I think when you say that, like people's immediate first reaction is the people that we brought up, right? The people that are cutting themselves for stuff, people that are doing sexual things in the community, whatever. It's never anything positive. Which, if you're trying to present yourself to like a wider audience, or when I try and get someone on the podcast, for example, and like I think the worst thing you could ever do, which is I think a lot of people in small commentaries mindset, is it open it up by saying I'm a small commentary member, instead of just saying that you're like a commentary like creator, like looking to I speak to like an individual or whatever. It's always I'm this part of small commentary community, which in itself gives bad connotations. If I received a message like that, I would probably air it, right? I probably
Mhm.
wouldn't answer again, the negative connotations that the community is associated with, especially now. I just it's not a great way to present yourself.
Yeah. Listen, the strat here is just find like three good friends, I guess, that you know in your general sphere that all also like want they're that share the same end goal of like getting successful on YouTube, right? Find maybe three
Mm,
good friends and make those the only three people you regularly talk to on the internet. If you're in big Discord servers, regularly joining VCs, engaging in the shit flinging, like talking about degeneracy, just stop. Find three good friends, get into calls with them, start talking about YouTube, start sharing around topics, start studying the algorithm, because then you'll actually be surrounding yourself with other people that want what you want. You'll be benefiting off of each other, and there's less. There's a when your circle is smaller. There's a I feel like a lesser likelihood that something degenerate is going to happen. I mean, back in the day, that's what I did, right? I was in a group chat with Scrubby, Benji, Cyrus, who actually did end up becoming a degenerate, but at the time didn't know that. And we would just sit in there and study the algorithm and just talk. All we talked about was YouTube. I mean, we'd occasionally take breaks and play games and shit, but like,
mhm.
don't keep your circle small.
No, 100%. And like for you going from like doing like content back what in 2018 and stuff and onwards and getting these million views and stuff and surrounding yourself with people that also were studying like analytics and had their like mindset on a goal. How stuff and commentary changed for you as a content creator, somebody who's maybe slowed down with content stuff and is maybe more active in the commentary community on Twitter and other bits. How's that changed for you being like a creator?
I guess I guess my current involvement back then, I had an end goal. I don't really have a goal anymore, like being in this community. To be honest, like I think like my only presence in this community is probably for my own amusement. I
Mhm.
think that
Yeah.
like I'd eventually like to get back into making content. I mean, I'm very busy with school and everything. Um, I think that I don't know. I feel like commentary's kind of like reached like a plateau. Like I don't really know if there's like any community anymore. Like everything's so spread out.
Yeah.
I kind of just hooked on to like Augie's community for a little bit, and that was kind of the community I would co-host on Augie's live streams, and that's kind of the community I associated with for a while. And ever since that's kind of fallen off, like there's not really a community. I just like sometimes I'll engage in the shit flinging for my own amusement, but for now I feel like they're really what's changed is the fact that there isn't any like organized community anymore.
Well, yeah, 100%. I feel like there used to be quite a few figureheads, right? So, like you said, like Augie, right? I feel like you would immediately say that he might be like a figurehead of commentary, right? Someone that you could say that, okay, like I associate with these people, whatever, and people would actually understand, know. Even with small commentary, right? Like I think even last year you could look and say, right, this is like just commentary, right? You've got like Augie RFC, you've got these people, whatever, and then you've got small commentary, and you've got people like Toxically Stressed or whatever, right? In there. Well, I don't think like I do have to agree with you there. I don't think there's that anymore. I think there's
Mm.
just like a group of people, right? That they just exist, mainly on Twitter, right, and Discord. It just exists. There's no like community like dramas anymore. There's no like big things. Like there's issues between like content creators and stuff, like with the Salvo crap and all that other bits. But there isn't much of like a community thing where like last year and the years before when you had like situations with like the Pygale stuff come out and even originally the Jalen stuff and all of that stuff. Not to like put them in the same category. Um, but when that came out and stuff, it did feel way more of like a community thing. Where now when that happens, it isn't like it's sort of like a content creator versus a content creator, and you make a tweet about it and you get on. Which I think for like me as somebody who's been in commentary for a while now, like I think that was like its charm, and its charm has sort of been like worn off and has been lost like along the way of content creators sort of either falling off, like getting busy or doing other things. And I don't know if that's something you've noticed as like being somebody who's like slowed down in content and like focused more on that community thing and like clung onto Augie's stuff. Is it's really lost that like connection and that charm.
It has, and I think also something I should say is back when I was a small commentator,
Hmm.
the it was all much more centralized in the sense that, well, first of all, by the way, commentary has become a lot more Americanized. Back when I
Yeah.
was a
Oh
small
my god.
commentator,
Yeah.
everybody, with the exception of Leafy, who wasn't even in the community, everybody was fucking British, and all the big British creators who all kind of like got big off of like Pyro's like coattails, like they all were in this big group chat called the Lads on Tour. All the like the smaller British commentators were in there, the bigger ones, and then like the massive guys like I'm Alex, Pyro, whatever. So every small commentator's dream back then was to get into this group chat that essentially decided all the discourse in the community. Now, right, anyone who's somewhat influential, like making commentary content, they have no involvement in this community. Maybe they'll occasionally like tweets in it or quote tweet being like, what the fuck is going on here? But they'll never really get involved. I mean, like Diesel Patches, you might see an account on Twitter occasionally posting. I should inform you, that's not Diesel. For some reason, everybody has become convinced that this like Petrol Patches Twitter account is Diesel. It's not him. It's a total impersonator. But like the real one doesn't get involved. Optimus barely gets involved. Like anyone who's somewhat successful doing this has like no involvement with the community because it doesn't benefit them in any way.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like it isn't worth it, and like there has been like a change in several ways. Like you said, right? Like I feel like several years ago, right? It was like dominated by British commentary YouTubers, right? There wasn't many like American ones that were like actively involved in the community. Where it's a flip now. Like I think for me as somebody who is British, I don't see a lot of like English commentators like anymore. I just don't. There is nobody like that. It's really rare to like come into a group chat and not see like I don't know like, 19 American people, and not get stunned. And there isn't that sense of like a group because like again, well, what's the point of getting involved with like the commentary community and small commentary stuff and drama and all that stuff when you can make a documentary or topic commentary video, get your views, get your community up without getting involved in any of that and getting involved in the hassle. And I guess now for a lot of people, it isn't worth the risk of getting involved because I guess now it's got to a point where when you do get involved with these situations, there's a heavy risk element. Where I guess a couple of years ago and like when things were way more popular and way when things were way more moving forward and stuff, there wasn't as much of a risk factor in getting involved in a drama in comparison to now.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
it's
mhm.
like in yeah, I guess I mean depends what you mean by risk factor, but yeah, no, I think it I don't know. I think that now like the drama's also just like so degenerate. It's not like, oh, he made a video on this guy where his points were bad or whatever. All the
Yeah.
drama now is like so at least in like what remains of the commentary community, it's so like personal. So I don't know. I feel like
Well,
it's
if it's not like a personal video drama or whatever, it's always usually okay. This guy's a sexual predator. This guy's cut himself. This guy's got like another person to cut their name into them or whatever.
yeah.
Um, like it's always shit like that. It's never like fun. Like it's never okay. This person's made a bad video because that's seen as petty drama now. Well, like you can't talk about that because that's too pathetic. But like you're expected to always talk about like self harm, pedophilia, and all of that fun shit, which I don't know. I think for a lot of people that just want to do this casually and want to actually achieve things, I don't think that's what they come online for. Like I know when I come online, I don't immediately like try and go looking out for like a pedophile case. I'd much rather just make my content, make a couple of tweets, and then log off and maybe interact with like my close circle, and then come off. Where I guess with the community, it's like heavy driven of looking for the next case and looking for the next big story.
Hmm.
Yeah, and they'll try and make something out of nothing. Here's something
Yeah.
else I wanted to mention. There's like really two versions of the commentary community as well. There's one when you ask like just the average like YouTube viewer, what is the commentary community? They'll name names like Ethan is online, Nick is not green, Curtis Connor, Cody Co. That's like really the mainstream commentary community now. And really they're not free from like that. That is, I guess, what like most YouTube viewers now would consider the commentary community. What
Mm.
we wouldn't consider them to be a part of it, but at the end of the day, that's what it's evolved into, and they're not free from drama themselves. I don't know if you've seen like this recent shit going down with Nick is not green, but
Yeah, the
um,
super mega stuff, right?
yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
it's a content style that just breeds drama, and in our case, the type of drama that has been coming about is a lot more disturbing, a lot less entertaining.
Yeah, yeah, it's almost entertaining for the wrong reasons. To be able to like watch a content creator that has been like so prestiged in the past, like fall down because of these allegations, which isn't a good thing, right? Like I don't think anyone should be like flexing that. Oh yeah, I really enjoy this, right? I really enjoy like watching someone like fall down to like allegations or whatever. But that's what it has come to, especially like in the community that we see as the commentary community. Because like you made a great point there. Like if you walked up to somebody who like maybe watches commentary stuff, they would cite podcasts, like TikTok news videos as like commentary stuff, YouTube Shorts as commentary stuff, and all that other stuff. Where a lot of people that are actually in the commentary community, or what we see as it, wouldn't class any of that as like the commentary community. They class it as like a different form of commentary. Where I feel like a lot of the situations that get covered in this community, uh, really do get covered, like in a bigger sense, for all the wrong reasons. Like it's never anything positive. So like the natural like audience member, like the new audience member, wouldn't really see a lot of that stuff because it's always like got a history, like the quiet stuff, or like even a couple of years ago the pyro stuff and all of that. Where like when you're watching like a Curtis Connor video, you're not really looking for like that shit.
Hmm.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
I guess it's just different, right? Like I feel like a lot has changed in the past, what, 5, nearly 6 years now, just doing commentary and doing stuff.
Yeah,
And
the overall style,
Mhm.
and I
Yeah.
Facecam just seems to be a lot more successful now overall.
Oh, 100%. Like I feel like gameplay, if like is a sign of like a channel you don't watch because I don't know, it's either like highly edited content like Sunny V2 level editing, or you use Facecam and in real life stuff and skits and all that bits. Where I guess like a couple of years ago, it was way more diverse. Where you could have gameplay commentary, which was successful. You could have like Facecam commentary, which was also successful. You could have all these different commentaries, like sort of at once. Where a lot of people get bored of that gameplay commentary style now. A lot of people don't find that interesting, and I don't know if that's down to the fact that it got overused or the fact that people's retention spans are fucked from TikTok and short form content, where they can't like actually digest content unless something's moving on the screen like every 5 seconds. But it's a lot harder, especially as like a commentary YouTuber, to create content, especially if you don't want to show your face and you don't want to do in real life stuff. I guess it's a lot harder. You either have to be really good at editing, or you can upload gaming commentary videos, which might not reach the targeted audience.
Mhm. Yeah, it almost feels like the algorithm is actively promoting, face cam over gameplay. I mean, I have nothing to support that claim, but that's what it seems like.
Yeah. Well, like I feel like anytime I go on the homepage and I do get recommended any commentary, it is always either a face cam commentary, like someone like doing the news sort of stuff of commentary, or it's somebody doing like a documentary type commentary where it's heavily edited. It's never any in between, right? It's never gameplay. I rarely see any new gameplay commentary YouTubers recommended, unless it's old people or unless it's like a Cheeto doing like a video or whatever. I don't ever see any gameplay commentary on my like home feed or in my recommended or anything like that. And I guess like it does have negative connotations, gameplay commentary as well. Like it does have a pretty bad rep, especially with YouTube and other things. Like I feel like usually if you ask like somebody who might watch commentary like 5, 6 years ago now, about gameplay commentary, they would like recite some of the most vile shit you've ever heard, right? Because
Mhm.
I feel like that's the connotations of like Leafy and other crap.
Yeah, Leafy, uh, like, I don't know, everyone's already said it, but, like, I still can't believe the stuff Leafy did back in the day, like, went on as long as it did. Like, he was literally, like, just, like, telling young kids to, like, end their life and shit. Like, I don't understand,
Yeah.
like, how that went on that long. I mean, I don't know, I think that also, like, there's to some extent, I feel like people have, like, less respect in people who, like, give their opinions behind, like, anonymity. Like,
Mm.
I don't know, it just seems kinda like, and we're all guilty of it, but, like, I can imagine it just seems kinda cowardly for someone to, like, be insulting other people's, like, appearance behind gameplay and stuff.
Yeah, behind gameplay, never showing their face or like that they hide their identity for whatever reason. I guess then it makes your arguments really like easy to like break apart, right? Which if you're watching a commentary YouTuber, I feel like especially now you want them to be at least well spoken, be able to like converse like good points, right? And
Mhm,
like not being able to immediately be deconstructed because you haven't shown your face or you've done this or you've done that. Which I feel like in commentary like now, it just makes it harder to do that form of content, right? That's why you don't see a lot of like commentary YouTubers in the community and other stuff because it is just genuinely hard. Like I feel like commentary, there's loads of content creators out there doing commentary, but none that want to associate themselves with the community or that gameplay style. Like I feel like if you see a lot of like commentary YouTubers, they are all trying to replicate that Sunny V2 style of
mhm,
like editing documentaries, trying to get them out, and trying to do that. Which, look, I feel like that's the demographic that is thriving the most at the moment is documentary viewers, right? Like there is a real need for that for some reason, like a big demographic for it. And look, the videos are fun to watch and stuff, but as a content creator, they're hassle. There are a lot of hassle to be able to post one of them with a lot of the time depressing topics. It's always downfalls and other bits. It's never like poking fun at a video. It's always something really serious again, which again I feel like has like lessened the charm of commentary. Where a couple of years ago you could watch some guy with a couple of gameplay roasting some other guy's video and it was funny.
mhm. Yeah,
Like
my best advice is if you're trying to get into the documentary type stuff, like a lot of these people, like internet anarchists, etc. I was really surprised by the way when I found out internet anarchist edits his own videos. But
mm,
presets are your friend. Unless you're like talking to a bunch of editing snobs, nobody's gonna like really diss you for using them. If your content does well and you could get it out as quick as possible, but editing presets like Red Giant, Universe, Sapphire, etc. I mean, if you look hard enough, you can find them online. Those well, that's how like people like internet anarchist or I mean that guy works his ass off. I'll say that, but it does kind of help get your stuff out quicker and makes it more reasonable to produce for a small commentary channel.
oh yeah, 100%. And like having conversations with people like in Anarchist, like you said, he does work hard. Like even for the collaboration I'm doing with him as well. Is that he's very on point with it. He's like he tries to get it as quickly as possible and stuff, and that's the same with a lot of these content creators. When I spoke to like Turkey Tom for the podcast, again, he sort of relayed the same information about editing and stuff because I know he has a team, right? He has like a big fuck off team now to help him do stuff. Which again, like I feel like there's connotations around that, like usually negative. Like being able to have like a team and stuff. Which if you can get the content out quick enough and like there's like need for it, I don't see an issue with it. And then people work extremely hard, and I feel like that's the pattern a lot of people want to follow now. Is that Sunny V2 in Anarchist Turkey Tom style of content, being able to post like a documentary like maybe every other week, a week, and tell a story and stuff. It's more, I would say, about telling a story than it is telling jokes now. Like I feel like that like comedic form of commentary has fallen off in comparison of that storytelling, like highly edited form of commentary.
Hmm.
Like
Yeah.
I just feel like that's something that's happened. And for you, but like, my question is just like wrapping that bit up. Is like moving forward and stuff. If you did like try and make a comeback with the commentary content and like upload or whatever, like after school stuff and whatever, what style of commentary like do you think would best suit you now?
I'd either do the face cam route or the internet anarchist route. To be honest, I don't really have. I just can't be. I have no interest in it in these topics anymore. Like it's hard for me to make videos on things that I'm not interested in anymore.
Yeah.
And the biggest problem is I don't have enough interest to like put all this effort into making a good video about I don't know whatever drama's happening this week. Um, I do find the I will say though I have considered and if other people didn't already make great videos about it I would, but I have considered making a like an internet anarchist style video on like the Nick is not green stuff, but
Hmm.
obviously people the other thing about commentary is like you have to be quick about it, especially with drama content, or
Yeah.
everybody else beats you to it. I mean, you could still get views, don't get me wrong, by like making a video that everybody else has already covered, but to really maximize it you need to be very quick about it.
Yeah, 100%. And like that's the thing, right? You need to be first on the scene with that. You need to be first to get your video out, which a lot of the time is also where like inconsistencies in stories and issues arise, I guess. Because like that's the whole thing with commentary, right? Is if you're doing topic commentary and that sort of stuff, is you need to be one of the first people to post that video, break that story, be able to get the most attention from it, attraction, whatever. Which a lot of the time it leads to videos not being fact checked and stuff. Which again, it's unfortunate. Like the commentary and how like social media works in that aspect, is that okay, right? You can post it like quickly with like a bunch of misinformation, and that will get way more views and way more traction, which will fix that narrative to that instead of a video that is like well researched but maybe
Mhm.
released like a couple of days later, and that will get significantly less views than the video there's a bunch of misinformation in. Which I think, like as of recent, there's a lot of videos like that, especially with big situations. I think a key one is like the quiet stuff. Is people rush to get videos about that out and just like like fully convince themselves that Quiet was guilty and like spread that message far and wide and got thousands of views from it. When in reality that wasn't the case, and the people that gave like a more well-rounded side ended up like, getting pushed to the side because they took longer on their videos.
You don't even need like to get the consensus of like the majority to like think someone's guilty. You don't even need like good enough proof anymore. Like to be honest, this
Yeah.
dream shit like really is like black pilled me on all of that because like I do not like Dream. Most people don't. But I will say, like a lot of like the burden of proof for people to just start calling this guy like a pedophile was I've never seen a burden of proof so low. I mean, like the all the evidence coming out about him. I think like the the one that was actually like pretty substantial was like a 3 year age gap. Like I haven't I feel like now like I don't know. I just feel like there's not like you can make allegations now against people, not even need to prove it.
Oh yeah, 100%. You can make one statement and call someone a pedophile or a groomer or whatever, and that will catch on, and there will be no need for evidence or like any substantial proof or whatever. I think the Dream stuff, like I said, is a great example of that. Like last year, there was loads of people coming out about Dream, and the majority of it was complete bullshit. Right? There was some that had loads of evidence and loads of documentation and stuff. But that at that point, the narrative had already been set that he is that, so it didn't really matter. And again, that's where you see like people going under the radar and stuff, and you see these big narratives built, where like the stuff that was legitimate, like you said, like the one with the 3 year age gap, whatever it was, where there was like again like a good amount of evidence about it, right? it sort of got pushed into the narrative that he is definitely. When again, like at that point, he hadn't even responded, and still he is still making his video responding. And I feel like if you look on TikTok, Twitter, YouTube, you can get the consensus that the majority of people that are like openly speaking about it believe that he's a like pedophile or a groomer or whatever. Which again, right, like you said, is really easy to push like a false narrative like that now.
Hmm. Yeah,
Uh,
just I don't know. I feel like I think who was it? Carl Sagan said it best. Like extraordinary claims should require like extraordinary evidence, and a pedophile is like the worst thing you can like brand somebody as. So
yeah.
I think before like I don't know, just in general, I think before people and I've seen commentators jump on that bandwagon too. I think before you label somebody like as something like that, there should be an extraordinary amount of evidence. I mean, we've seen what happened with Slazo, we've seen what happened with various other people. Like I think with such serious allegations, the best thing to do is sit back and wait for both parties' response.
Oh, 100%. And that's an issue that I've seen a lot in the commentary community, especially like what people brand as smaller commentary community. Is the fact that people will make a video or whatever, and they will like intentionally cut evidence, or they won't show evidence like to fit their narrative, whatever. There's loads of smaller commentators I can think of like I won't name any. I don't want to name and shame. Um, but there's loads of commentary YouTubers that will bring up like an allegation against someone as a I don't know like a way to like collaborate what they're trying to say, like but not show for proof and other stuff. Which again, right? Like if you're gonna make a claim against someone, have all the evidence and the proof that like can help like benefit that and help actually show that. But again, a lot of people don't do that because again, it is really easy to make one tweet calling someone a pedophile and it catches on because they're disliked. If you can find a really heavily fucking disliked person and make a horrible allegation about them, the majority of the time it's going to catch on. Like the majority of it, especially like someone like Dream, right, who has a massive child audience, who is massively hated. It took what a couple of tweets for literally everyone to jump on the bandwagon. And it's really easy. It's really easy, which makes like commentary as well such a toxic place instead of where it used to be, where it's always been toxic. Uh, but I don't know if it's always been this toxic.
Yeah, it's gotten to like I don't know, at this point just like jump ship, do your own thing. It's gotten to levels I never thought I'd see, unfortunately. And even back in my day, we had some pretty degenerate shit. So now it's just with the e-dating shit, the grooming, the oh my god, there was one guy, one small commentator who tried to call me out, and he ended up getting exposed for being like a satanic pedophile into like 6-year-olds. Like
What
this
the
shit is
fuck?
just insane.
My God, man. And that's like it's not even like a rare occurrence anymore. Like I see like day to day, like even people that are in my servers or whatever are talking to me and interacting with me, I've like send the weirdest stuff ever. Like their DMs are getting leaked or whatever. These are just even the commentary orbiters as well now. That like stories are being made out of them because they are doing some of the most vile shit ever.
Yeah,
And
most of the bad shit is with the orbiters. It's not even the creators.
Yeah, and it's catching on a lot, and I think with like the orbiters and stuff, it's either the orbiters or it's the creators with like below 1,000 subscribers who end up doing something so heinous that it just gets picked up by everybody. Like there are examples, especially in commentary, like a guy called Kumo, like a guy called Nomus and whatever. There's loads of them, loads of these cases and loads of these stories of people that have done horrible things. That they're not the biggest people ever, but because of the thing they have done is so extraordinary, or they show no remorse, it ends up getting picked up. Which again, if you're a commentary YouTuber and you do want to interact with people, it doesn't look good on you at the end
Yeah.
of the day, regardless. Which is unfortunate.
As I said, the smaller your circle, the better. Didn't that
Yeah.
Nomus guy like falsely accuse somebody of like sending people CP and stuff?
Wait, you
Uh,
know about that? What the fuck?
Yeah, Dingo's a
Oh,
friend
yeah.
of mine.
Yeah, he did.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
okay.
I told you
Yeah.
I keep up more than you guys would think, but I don't really. I kind of keep my distance.
Yeah, I know.
I don't blame you, man. Yeah, Nomus has done some weird things, including being like in his mid-20s, talking to 17-year-olds and exchanging Shota.
Oh
It's
wow,
just
so he falsely accused somebody else of being a pedo, and then actually turned out to be a pedo himself.
Yeah.
Oh
It's
my god,
great.
you can't make. Do you guys know who? Okay, I feel like this is entertaining enough to bring up for your podcast. Do you know who Jason Wolf is?
Oh
Oh
yes,
shit.
yeah, oh yes, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so I knew about this guy because he was like back in the day, like harassing a bunch of small commentators. He was like a
Mhm.
weed smoking, like Satanist, like uh, posting lolly and shit, some crazy shit. I hear about this guy after not hearing his name maybe for 2 3 years because I've been involved in like the political community a little bit more. And now the
Mhm.
last I've heard of this guy, I got like a post from like Brooklyn Antifa on my timeline. He's like a dedicated neo-Nazi that was like arrested like
Yeah,
he it's insane.
it's mad, and like Jason Wolf, like even a couple of months ago, was still interacting with the community. He was interacting. This is gonna like I don't know if you know this. He was interacting with Nomus Yao for a couple of months ago. He was in his server. Like and Nomus kept him in there to try and get an interview out of him with a bunch of kids. While he was like
In the
spewing.
VC.
Yeah, spewing his neo-Nazi messages as well in the chat. He kept him in. It took me and other people going in there to shout at him to ban the guy and get him out.
He sent
Uh,
gore to minors, didn't he?
Yep, he knew about all this as well. This is the thing: is small commentary so fucked, and these people like circulate it that nobody wants to be fucking involved. People that even like find it interesting want to like be kept back. They don't want to be like actively involved in it because there's shit like this that goes on, and it's so easy to like see, and like especially when you're like massively involved. I see like usually at least like a couple of these degenerates a month, which realistically like shouldn't be happening.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
it
It
is interesting for all the wrong reasons.
yeah, j get out while you can. Get out while you
Yeah,
can.
exactly. Exactly. And I've got this podcast. Well, just fuck off in it.
Oh, it's pretty
Uh,
I actually, I don't remember. I think I met you, Ace Howler 180. Weren't you, like, involved in the flamenco stuff?
Yeah, I kept giving you screenshots. It was kind of funny.
Oh, yeah. That like, I try to keep my distance, but, like, stuff people like flamenco, it's just too tempting, like, to to not fuck with them.
I
It's
thought
not
it'd
even
be
a
really
commentary
funny.
guy.
Yeah, I really thought it'd be funny to ask him like what they should think the age of consent should be, and they just said, "I don't know."
I developed, like, a mini fan base just from shitting on that guy. I think, like, I've gotten, like, 400 followers just from, like, making tweets shitting on him.
Yeah, I
well,
think he's officially blocked Stormy now, which is kind of unfortunate.
That is. It's the end of an era.
It is.
well, like
Oof.
it's people like that that again, right? It is really tempting to get involved in certain situations, or like seeing situations go down and being able to dog on people like that. Like again, I think a perfect case. So of course, someone that isn't as like bad as like any of the people we spoke about that. I do want to reiterate that is somebody that like Jalen, right? For like a year was dogged on, right? It was just fun, right? It was fun, and then you know the mental side like N-word breakdown stuff. Um, but it was more of like a fun thing that you could get involved in and stuff. Well, you don't really see that a lot, and a lot of the dramas that are going on now, they're either really bad or they're really tempting, right? Especially for me, in smaller commentary, there are loads of situations that are really tempting, because they all end up being really big for whatever reason. Which is weird as a commentary YouTuber or like commentary creator just in general. If you do want to cover these stories and cover these situations, but a lot of the times it's better that you don't. It's better that you just sort of just leave them to do their own thing and sort of back away. Which, especially with small commentary, is nearly 99% of the time the best option to do.
Yeah, I mean, if you're gonna get involved, by the way, as well, like at least like stream about it, make money off of it. If you like absolutely feel the need to like start like throwing shit at people.
Exactly. Like for me, as somebody who like does get involved from time to time, my thing is if it's like a genuine like threat to people, or if it's like a genuine like issue, like not just like some like internet drama or like degeneracy going on. The best bit, yeah, fucking monetize it. You know, actually report it as well, which a lot of people don't do, which gets on my nerves. Is they will see someone in the commentary community that is like genuinely talking to a child, like inappropriately, and their first thought is to, like not report it or do anything, is to fucking make a tweet about it or cover it or like fucking like have a laugh and screenshot it, which is again like I think that is like the small commentary, I don't know, maybe fatigue or whatever, in the sense that a lot of people are either too young to know what to do in those situations, or handle those situations, or they're too immature, right?
Mhm.
is they don't like actually deal with it properly. They end up just like laughing about it, making a tweet about it, and then calling it like case closed.
Mhm.
Uh,
Yeah.
which is always bad, right? And I feel like that's where like a lot of the people in sport commentary get their like negative connotations from, right? It is the fact that a lot of people just don't know how to deal with those situations. Probably down to like going back to right at the beginning of the episode is what we said is a lot of people are just really young in this community.
Yeah, and yeah, just purge your circles. Don't keep these people around.
Yeah,
All I
exactly.
can say.
There's no point. There is no point. People like Nomus and people like those other smaller commentators. It just isn't worth risking it. Just isn't worth it whatsoever.
Yo, so Aiden, I got a random question for you.
Yeah. What's up?
Which which guy do you find would have less brain cells between the two? Do you think it would go to Michael Alberto or Flamenco?
Oh, flamenco by far, by far. Like, you know, why is that even why is that even a question?
No, I just remember watching the lyrics live stream and I saw like Michael Alberto try to call Turkey Tom a doxer, which was like wild to
One
me.
is like a guy who's like hit his head enough times, or he has like some brain damage. You're not too sure like what the extent of it is. You might need to see it on a brain scan. The other guy is a guy who basically just had a fucking spike go through his skull. Like, flamenco is like just when I found out. By the way, he used to lie to all of us about his age. Say he was like in his early 20s. He's going to school. He's hip. He's cool. Dude,
Oh,
when I found out this guy is in his late 30s, I just lost it. I lost it. Like, how can one person be honestly, like, I think it should be everybody's goal in life to study this person and do everything you can to not end up like him when you're in your late 30s. It's my best
Li-
advice.
Lying about lit 10 years, like I don't get that, man. Like I know a lot of people lie maybe like about a year or whatever, like give or take. Um, 10 years, like you've got to be like a grade A fucking weirdo, to be able to lie about a 10 year like age gap.
oh, I
It's
was
not
also kind
good.
of like I could just like be behind in the lore, but like I've been seeing like this picture be used as like a gotcha. Do you know that picture that is like flamencos with like Turkey Tom and like Augie and all that stuff,
Oh, it's just a
like all in
meme. I
person?
think they met up before any of the drama happened. But that was a point in time where I was beefing with Flamenco. They were all still cool with him.
Hmm.
And I think they met up at a party or something and took that picture. I've heard from people that he was just incredibly weird in real life. So,
I see that. Because I know like I saw like Michael try to use it as a gotcha against the community, but like I had like no context to the image at all.
well, it's weird that Michael will use that as a gotcha when he was defending Nick Fuentes, like long after the comments about like having a 16-year-old bride, or like having the milk while it's good, or like Michael was the last one to jump off the Nick Fuentes train, so he's not really in any position to criticize other
Oh yeah,
people
no,
over that.
yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I was just kind of like wondering context for real.
Yeah. No, I just posted it as a meme because it's kind of funny.
But that is that's the commentary effect, though, isn't it? That like a lot of the people that you end up speaking to, I feel like there's a good like I want to say like 80% chance that one of the people that you had in your close circle at like one point or another will end up being a big creep in some way or another. Like that is the commentary effect. Like I can already name like several people that I've cut off from my like inner circle that have turned out to be creeps, Nomus and all them people as well,
I've noticed
included.
it's all very like even if they're not directly exposed for doing something, like it's pretty easy to distinguish like the weirdos from the non-weirdos here. Like, I feel like now if you look at all the people that have been exposed for doing creepy shit, I asked myself, how did we not see this like in hindsight? They're all like bizarre human beings, even if there were no indicators that they were, engaging in predatory behavior. They're just not normal people. And I'm not saying cut off everybody that's not normal, but look for the signs. Maybe keep only mentally stable people in your circles, and yeah, that's
Well,
all I can say.
Yeah.
especially like if you're a smaller commentator, right? Like it's really easy to tell who's like mentally well and mentally not well, right? Like a lot of smaller commentators who maybe aren't, you'll see them doing the occasional black and white face, maybe even threatening to sue YouTube in their replies or full striking and stuff, which usually would be a red flag, or even just joking about having someone's docs and like genuinely making them think that. Usually these things would be red
Oh boy.
flags, but again, small commentary and commentary in general is the brain cells aren't there to recognize that. It just isn't there. Doesn't work, which is unfortunate.
True.
Uh, But hey, man, I really do appreciate you coming on Trash Talk for nearly an hour, man. I really do appreciate it.
Oh yeah, no problem. Sorry if I couldn't contribute anything else. I've kind of been out of the loop recently, but contribute what I can. It's nice talking to you guys.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Well, you contributed, especially to smaller commentary stuff, more than I thought you would be able to, especially stuff like Numbers and other bits. It is interesting that like you do keep like your eye on certain stuff that happens in smaller commentary stuff. Because I guess like for a lot of people, they overlook that side of stuff, which I do not blame them. A lot of the time, I overlook a lot of the details going on and just focus on the bigger stuff going on. But it's always nice to hear that like just people in general are like checking in and like seeing what's going on.
Well, yeah, it's like a train wreck. You want to, but you can't look away. Like you're just so
Yeah,
tempted to like watch what happens. But yeah,
and cool commentary, man.
yep. But yeah, thank you guys for having me on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, no worries, man. And for everyone watching today's episode of Trash Talk, please consider leaving a like and subscribing. I've been your host Samuel. I've been here with Ace Howler, and I will catch you in the next episode of Trash Talk.